Welcome to the Caffeine Lab. Today we're going to see how to change a power cable. Here we have a salvage cable, which is still pretty much usable. First of all, let's extract the remaining piece of the old cable that is currently still in the machine. Let's loosen up the electrical terminals to successfully free up the individual wires. At this point, they can be pulled out. And then we remove the entire cable by loosening the plastic cable gland. Now, this version looks like a nut, but it actually does not unscrew. It's a sort of lock with an open and closed position, basically. You see, once it's open, the nut no longer turns. But the cable is free now. I can just pull it out. There we go. At this point, we can already remove the sleeve from the new cable, more or less to the same length compared to the original. Since we don't want to accidentally cut the rubber on the individual wires, here's a trick. So, by bending the cable like this, we create a surface tension on the rubber. So we only need a superficial incision which doesn't go all the way in. The outer sleeve will split without the blade touching the inner wires, thanks to this tension. So the risk of damaging the individual wires is greatly reduced. This is quite an important thing actually. Now, let's go and strip each wire. And here we're going to make a small improvement just to show off a little bit in the video. So when we take a closer look at the original cable, we see that its terminals were crimped, which means that it is like a solid piece because we have this brass copper sleeve which holds all of the individual metal strands together in a single bundle. So we can use a small amount of solder with a soldering iron and basically transform the entire cable into a unified and completely solid piece, as if it were a single copper wire and not made up of little strands. By following this method, you can improve the grip on your wire and make it electrically more secure, so you reduce the risk of sparks or disconnection over time. Now I'm going to trim the tips down just a little bit because I realized that I exposed the copper a little bit too long. In this case, we like the copper to enter the clamp. And now we're ready to fit the cable into the machine. I should have done all this after putting the cable in the machine. But since we tin the wire ends, this is fine, because it makes it more straightforward to guide and to guide the cable through the gland, because even if it gets caught, the strands will not begin to unravel. Here you make sure you don't misplace the air cable, otherwise you might get a fully live machine and you don't want to have that. Make sure you tighten the terminal as well. Like I said, here loose connection might get looser over time and disconnect or even create sparks, which is not good. Also be very careful that the cable does not come into contact with any hot components. Okay, let's tighten the cable gland so that it holds the cable in place. And here, when dealing with plastic, make sure not to force it. Remember, this is not a real thread, it's more like a clamp. See? Now the cable is secured. Right, now the job is done and I'll show you something. So here I'm going to add water because I want to test the machine. I'm gonna plug it in and look. I got to turn it on and it was accidentally already on. What does it mean? It means that if I had not put the water in first before plugging the machine, I would have instantly burnt the element. Instantly. So please always add water before plugging it in. Anyway, we can see that this machine is still not in its best shape, but we'll get there. This video was just to demonstrate how to replace the main wire, so the machine doesn't have to be beautiful. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. As always, please give this video a like if it helped, subscribe, share it, just to help me, just to encourage me to keep doing these things, make new videos, get new ideas, and as always, thank you very much for watching.